moving to another subject. We are talking, and it's amazing like they are connected, because now we are talking about games and metaverse. And let's start it with Victor Caribé from Play4Change. Welcome, Victor.
Hello, everyone. I'm Victor Caribé. I'm one of the co-founders of Play4Change. We're really grateful for being here and for the invite from the Ethereum community to be able to share our story with builders, with thinkers, and creators from Ethereum. I've heard a lot of you guys asking about inclusion, and I believe crypto is about inclusion. And this is why I got so interested about crypto in 2016. And I couldn't stop learning a single day. And I've been that guy trying to explain what was happening and explain how disruptive this will be. Right after the internet, a lot of industries now are about to be completely disrupted. And I've been working at PwC between Brazil and the US for the past 12 years. But this past 6 years since I learned about crypto, I was full-time, I was working at PwC, but on my free time, I would always try to understand this world better at nights and weekends. So I had like 2 jobs, one in the traditional industry and one watching the future and what I thought this would look like. And last year, it wasn't sustainable anymore, and I decided to take a sabbatical, 4-month sabbatical, to really think and decide what I wanted to do next and how I wanted to participate and build something in this industry. And that's when, with my head clear, Jeff, one of the co-founders of Play4Change, came to me and said, you should watch this documentary. And there I saw people from the Philippines turning to crypto to make a living after the pandemic hit them, as they were unemployed. And then finally I saw this way of democratizing money, the way I believed in when I first heard about it. Because this technology is inclusive by nature. It's really open for everyone to participate. But they have to understand, they have to know that it's out there. And if it doesn't get to the right people, they're not going to join us. And the right people for us are those that have been left behind by the current systems, whether there is education or financial systems. So right then, we decided to build this movement that we like to call. We wanted to make it a decentralized organization, and we are working towards this. And I spent the rest of my sabbatical with Enrique, the third co-founder, just writing it down and designing and thinking about this new business model that could have, in nature too, a way to make other people improve their lives with crypto. And with crypto games, which is even crazier. When we saw what was happening in the gaming industry with blockchain, we thought this was possible now with the whole play-to-earn movement and with the new games that will come up. So this is something that we have been doing for only 9 months. So Play4Change is very young, it's a baby, and it's kind of being born here in Ethereum. And now, why we started this? Right now, we have 1.7 billion people that are excluded from the financial system. They are completely unbanked. And by that, when the central banks, the Federal Reserve, for example, they printed out 40% of the money supply in the past 2 years, guess who suffers the most? Whoever can't buy assets, whoever is holding cash only. And those are the people that are doing that. And if we can only let them know there is an alternative now, just that could change their lives. But we can go further even and help with unemployment. Because a lot of them, with the pandemic, remote working doesn't work in favelas, doesn't work in underserved communities. But if they learn programming, if they learn other skills that they can work from there, they could definitely participate in these digital economies and generate revenue for their families to pay for their basic needs. And these two things combined with a lot of more factors, some of them are systemic, some of them are structural, it's causing the wealth gap, and it's just increasing the social inequality right now in the world, where we have 50% of the population owning 2% of the assets. So this is a serious problem, and we have to fix it now, because we are right now at an inflection point where technology is just accelerating. and the amount of change we'll see going forward with the conversion of a lot of emerging tech. They can't be left behind, and if we don't go to them to let them know that this is here, it's going to be hard to bring them to this type of conference going forward. So this is what we're working on, and developing nations are the most impacted, so we decided to do it in Brazil, starting in Brazil. And our purpose is bringing financial inclusion, educational empowerment, and social transformation using games as a tool for them to learn. And I just drew this 2 days ago just to see how we're doing this. Now we have the tools to be able to do it. We have a smartphone, which it's over 400 million smartphones in Brazil, so the penetration is very high, and so it's almost double the population. And all of them do have that smartphone. If they have an internet connection, then they can access all these sorts of information and knowledge. And we just let them know that there's a digital wallet now they can plug into these decentralized protocols and start play with that. And the gaming could be in the middle just to be the gateway for them to access this new world. And as they do, Axie Infinity was the first game that we used. And we have seen this happening. And once they start earning tokens, they start familiarizing themselves with crypto. They then go and buy NFTs, or they just try to cash it out because they need to pay for their basic needs. So then we onboard them to some of the centralized exchanges. Right now, Binance is working well, but we want to work with Mercado Bitcoin, we want to work with other Brazilians and centralized exchanges from here too, so we can then onboard them in an easier way. But then after that, something happens. They start to play around in these decentralized protocols, and they go to Uniswap, and they convert the SLPs into Bitcoin, not Bitcoin, but Ethereum, and all of these other projects that they can invest in. And they can also create on Sandbox, and they can do a lending and borrowing with Maker. So all of this is taking them from being unbanked to being accessing the most sophisticated financial system we have out there within the DeFi ecosystem. And some of these games are even bringing some of DeFi concepts where they can play, not to earn, but they can play to learn. And so once they start learning about staking, they can start learning about how to swap within those games and how to create liquidity pools. So this is a lot more advanced things that we are seeing happen in some of these underserved communities. And this mentality shift is something that we were looking for last year when we start this movement. And we're really happy to see this happening right now in a few of these places. And so there's a picture that exemplifies, like, maybe the metaverse in the favelas. We could start bringing these tools for them to learn how to earn. And then at some point, I can get there and I can speak about crypto, things that I can't speak with my good friends that had a great education. And now these guys are completely leapfrogging their realities and having an opportunity to improve their lives with crypto. We started Play4Change. Right now, since day one, we knew that we had to partner with strategic NGOs because that's the way that we can have access to some of these communities. And the first call we had was with Camila from Impacto to get some of her expertise in all these years of social impact. And we were able to connect with some of these NGOs and try to educate them on crypto because they were used to traditional media that had some negative views of crypto. And that was the initial steps that we decided to do. And Camila also told us, you can't just give them money and expect them to know what to do with that. And so education became our most important pillar too, because at some point when they start to earn, we wanted to facilitate the process of them knowing what to do with the income that they are making at that point. So we're partnering with NGOs, with social impact startups, and so we can get some communities. So we've been in Rio, we've been in Bahia. I'm from Salvador originally, in Bahia, and we are also in Espírito Santo. This was our first session in Canabrava. And what happened there was we had a sponsor, a social investor. In that case was my sister. And she told us, I'm going to sponsor a team, but you have to impact women. And then we got together with this NGO. We said, okay, bring us 10 women that we can then present this opportunity to them. And these women, they were selling water on the streets before they joined. And the next day, they were playing Axie from home and taking care of their kids, and didn't have to go and sell water the next day, which was all they got as an informal job, a risky job, and now they were taking care of their kids and play for 1 or 2 hours a day and make at least something to pay for their basic needs. So when we saw that, the women from 40 to 60 years old, of course, the energy and the time that we had to spend was a little higher for them to get it, but they had their crypto exchange, and they were using it. Sometimes they would ask, why do I have a $90 balance, and then today I have 100? And we had to explain that. There's a volatility. And so, but at one point they got it. So they started to really understand what was happening. This is also a great project we have here in Rio with partnership with Plataforma Impact. They teach programming to kids in Rocinha. And these are called the Jedis. And they are also our players, because now they can not only learn and teach others and mentor others, but also can make a living and not have to worry about working 10 hours in something they don't like, but they can focus on the actual learning. And Impacto is also part of that. We are creating this ecosystem here in Rio, and that's why we've been growing a lot faster here. You should check them out if you don't know Impacto. They are bridging the gap of donors and NGOs and make that process transparent, make that process efficient, and that we can trust that the money is going to the right place, and the NGOs are prepared to receive it too. So this is just a reflection that now these kids, they have an alternative. They don't have to just rely, and they were learning Web 2 development, and now they are learning Web 3. And they were here this weekend on the boot camp, learning about crypto, and you should see their eyes. They were, I'm sure, like they'll get back to their homes and tell their friends. And now we'll continue doing that as part of our project. And so our core pillars were education at first. We want to teach them to play to learn. As they are curious, they will then learn to earn, which is a lot of us are calling this just play to earn movement, but I think it's more than that. It's a play to earn, or play to learn, and then play to earn, and then they will learn to build. And they'll be your next members of your communities you are building here, your DAOs. They'll be contributing and adding value to what you're doing too. They could be your investors too in the future, and we want to incubate them too. Because there's a lot of talent there. It's not a lack of talent, it's just a lack of opportunity. So if we can make sure this opportunity gets to them, we are sure that they will make out of it. That we're not the ones that will tell them what to do, but we'll listen to them and try to be this bridge that we can connect them to if they want to work for the traditional for corporations, or if they want to be designers and create NFTs. All of these things are available to them now. We just want to show them the way with education, finance, and technology combined with these tools. And we call that From Zero to Crypto. And Luis Haddad was the one that came up with his name. He's also a supporter from day one. He's one of our members. And we like to call that because that can become our KPI too. That's what we care about. We're learning how to measure some of this impact. We had a few trainings a few weeks ago, and how to really make this a way to, now we have dashboards, and we know how, once they come into our projects, how their life looks like. We have questionnaires and their dreams, and whether or not they're employed, and all of these things we can have as data, so then we can measure that after 6 months and see if we're actually making progress and we are changing their lives this way. We're learning every day. If I tell you that I know exactly where we're going, I'll be lying. And especially in this world that's so volatile, that the games change. But we're trying to add more and more games to diversify their risks too. This is one of the most special ones we get. We have the founder of the NGO here, Carol, and she's amazing. And we got a chance. We have been doing this remotely for a long time. I live in the US still. Enrique lives in Paris. And Jeff is the one that lives in Salvador. We've been doing a lot of that remotely, but we got a chance to visit and this NGO called Educar Mais. They're here in Complexo do Chapadão. And Carol founded the NGO when she was 17. Now she's 23. So she used to take the kids there, 30 kids walking around, and take them to have a different path in life. She would teach them how to read, how to write. And when we got there, we saw how hard was the reality and how miracle she was doing in there. And after that day, I mean, we didn't think we could do anything different, and we had to support this type. And she believed in us. I mean, a bunch of crazy guys telling her about Bitcoin, about how she could change the life of her students. And as they grow up, they would learn how to play with the computer. And these guys in the right, they are volunteers of her NGO, and they are our players. Right now, we only work with people over 18 because of the whole, but we want everyone can participate in our sessions, the education sessions, their mothers, their brothers, and there's no age. And at some point, I think we will add players that are under 18 as well. I talked to André, and I think Mercado Bitcoin, a few exchanges are actually decreasing the age that they can actually open an account in a centralized exchange. And we know that decentralized exchanges don't have that. And a lot of young kids are also playing more than 8 hours a day. And as long as they only play 1 hour, 2 hours, and we can actually measure and balance that to take care of their mental health, all of those things combined, I think we can definitely get them early on to learn about these concepts too, because I didn't learn about money until I was 33 or 34, until I actually learned about Bitcoin when I was 29, I think 30. But then I think they should learn before, and I think if they do, they'll be able to really change their lives a lot more. So Carol, I'm really happy to have her here today and participate in this type of events. And she's coming to the hackathon and try to solve some of the problems in Rio with her kids there. And some of the lessons we had, we tried to leverage our network and bring people to teach not only hard skills like blockchain development, but also soft skills for them. My sister is the one in the middle. She taught about like visualization, the power of dreaming for them, that sometimes a lot of them were losing their hope. And so we've been doing that a lot to get deep into these communities. That's why we didn't scale as fast. We want to really understand what we're doing and create models that can be replicated by any of you guys. Because Play4Change is not like mine, it's not Enrique. This is a movement, this is a community. And we don't want to build this for us. We're in the process of decentralizing the governance. We're in the process of distributing the ownership. And this is what's happening. Cambiato is one of our partners too, that Luis presented this morning. And we're creating a marketplace where we can create gamified ways to incentivize them to continue engaged in the community. So let's say, depending, everything we need, from websites to Instagram to our logos, we throw at the community and they can do for us. And we give them a token that they can change that token for in the marketplace for blockchain lessons, for food, to upgrade their team. So there's a lot of things that we are experimenting in this space. And this is working really well with Cambiatos. They are from Costa Rica. So when we learned that the DAO, it's a completely different environment. It's a lot more collaboration. And when we talk to any DAO, it feels a lot more like these are actual living organisms where, and it makes sense because DAOs share resources, they share people. It's not like traditional organizations where someone working at Google cannot work at Apple at the same time. So these DAOs are actually collaborating from a code base. And open source systems, they're much more innovative because of that. And they also have tokens from each other. So it makes sense to collaborate and to make sure that the whole network is growing and it's becoming stronger. And we have to work together because we are not dealing with easy things to fix. And our solutions we have to be sharing and collaborating as much as we can to get there. So these are our partners. We also have a partnership with Blockchain Space, and they are helping us curating new games. So we can then provide to our community so they can test and provide feedback to these games to be able to diversify the opportunities in those games too. And they also give us dashboards to monitor how we're doing and our revenue and all of that. And so some of the impact, because over 40K distributed to the community, over 100 hours of education, over 200 people impacted. It's not a lot, it's not big numbers compared to the Web 2, but it's something that we see as part there. And this is something that is actually onboarding them to the Web 3. And the more projects like ours that can be created, I think we can get there. The age range is from 18 to 60, and they make something around 500 reais per month, which is a lot. In a lot of these communities is a lot. And as long as we can at least give them an alternative so they don't have to join the traffic, they don't have to become a drug dealer, which a lot of these communities are ruled by cartels, this is already good enough for us. And so we are working hard to make sure that we continue to give them this alternative in life. This is our amazing core team. They're all spread out. We meet on Discord. So this is a new environment, a virtual world that we're working on. And I really appreciate all they're doing because it's out of passion, it's out of love. We haven't, everything we made, we reinvested in Play4Change, so we haven't taken anything to us yet. I don't know how these guys are surviving, but we'll get there. And these are some of the testimonials. Some of them are actually, Carol is now full-time in her NGO. We have some people paying for medicine. Each one of them is doing something different with the tokens they earn. And we invite you to join us in this movement and really bring in financial inclusion, bring in education around the world, because we really need this. And for the ETH Rio, we created this collection of NFT, and all of the sales of the NFTs will be converted to these NGOs, where we will buy computers, we'll invest in infrastructure, and we will also invest in our DAO to be able to serve them better. So this is the first NFT collection, Genesis, and this is the way that we can also distribute the ownership of Play4Change. In the future, there will be access to some of the educational platform that we build. There's a lot of great things coming out of this. If you want to support us, be closer to us, Play4Change is yours too, and you can join the movement with us. And so crypto was not created to make us rich. It is here to set us free. And so I invite you all to join Play4Change and be with us in this fight. Thank you.